Where are you went? So, Sonos recently added new slots to their Apple test flight, meaning there's been an influx of new players finally getting access to Sonos. And I figured now would be a great time to do another video on charting. Since I posted my intro to charting video for Sonos, a common sentiment is that the only thing stopping a lot of players from getting started is that they don't really know where to begin. And I think that's a very valid point. So I wanted to put together 5 tips to help you get started on charting. Tip number 1. As a beginner, I think it's important to dial back your expectations on what levels you want to be charting. A general rule I have for myself is to only chart levels that I'm comfortable playing, so that limits me to only pursuing level 30 and below. And as tempting as it is to attempt to chart a level 36 boss song, without the right experience, what might be hard and challenging to you could end up just being annoying or unnecessary to players actually in that skill range. Every time I finish a section, I'll quickly throw it up on Chart Cyanvas and see if I can full combo up to that point before I continue. If something feels awkward or something doesn't feel right, I'll try to rework it there. Once you get more experience charting, you'll start to understand what works and what doesn't. And you can apply that knowledge to charts above your skill level. But for the time being, let's just focus on what's accessible to you right now. Tip number 2. Something I always keep in mind when charting is to alternate using your left and right hands. This is basic patterning for pretty much every rhythm game I play. Now, this might seem pretty obvious to some people, but when you're finishing a pattern or a sequence of notes and you end it with the right note, it's now easier to start the next pattern knowing you only have to think in terms of where should I place this left note. This also comes in handy when you're playtesting your chart, and some section might feel awkward to play. Quickly looking over the notes, you might have accidentally placed a jack somewhere. Jack or jackhammers are repeating notes that have to be hit with the same finger or same hand. There are times where jacks are fine, and it really depends on the context of the song, but most of the time the player will instinctively try to alternate their fingers. So keep that in mind next time you're trying to choose your next note placement. Tip number 3. When you're working on a song that has repeating sections, for example, if your song has a chorus near the beginning, and then it comes up again later in the song, you can highlight and select the section, press Ctrl C to copy it, and then Ctrl Shift V to paste it as mirrored, and then left click where you want it to start. This can help give the chart a little bit of variety while still maintaining its identity or theme if that's something you're trying to go for. And this can save you a ton of time instead of having to go back and forth to reference the first section. Alternatively, you can copy the section note for note by pressing just Ctrl and V without the shift to paste the highlighted section. Tip number 4. If you're working on a section that feels like it might be too easy, and in the context of the music it feels like it should be harder, sometimes changing up the note sizes can give the section the illusion of added difficulty. Take this pattern here. It's pretty easy to figure out at first glance, but if you extend the notes out to where they overlap, suddenly the pattern becomes more ambiguous. And the player might end up trying to jack the patterns instead of doing the intentional way it was charted. And this can work the opposite direction as well. If the song is kind of quieter and has less energy, you can change the note sizes to be smaller to help emphasize that. Tip number 5. Sometimes there's parts in the song where there really isn't a lot going on. I like to ask myself, can I play this with just one finger? What's the other finger doing? So I try to think of different ways to turn a lot of the single notes into chords, or notes that you have to hit simultaneously. Or I'll add a hold or slider, something for your other finger to do, and gives your brain a little bit of a challenge to try to multitask. Anyways, those are some tips to help you get started charting, and hopefully get you to a point where it's playable. I also want to note that a lot of these tips are really just suggestions. Don't consider them rules that you need to follow. There will be times where the music calls for you to chart in a way that contradicts these tips. For example, sometimes you don't want to alternate your fingers. The music can have repeating notes and it might make more sense to add jacks. Or sometimes you want the section to be easy, and adding chords would make the section too busy, so you can just keep them as single notes. The goal for this video is to get you to start charting, and to start thinking about your note placement, instead of just randomly putting notes in patterns. So, what's next? Hopefully by this point you've gotten through to the end of the song. Now is the time to send a chart around to a few players for feedback. Basically, you're looking to see what they find boring, too easy, too hard, stuff that's annoying or unintuitive, then taking that information and going back to rework your patterns. Getting feedback is the best way to help improve your chart along with your charting knowledge. On the Chart Cyanvas server, while your chart is private, you can still send the link to people and they can play test it without it being public. Also, quick note, I just launched a Discord server for my community, and we have a section for custom charts, whether it's to post your charts or ask for feedback, or if you just want to check out other people's charts or just hang out. Feel free to join, I'll have a link to that in the description down below. The server is still a work in progress, so probably dial back your expectations a little bit, but it'd be awesome to see you guys join. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you've got any more tips you'd like to share about charting. Even if you don't make charts, go ahead and let us know things that you might find annoying or frustrating that you might want addressed for future charts. My name's Jeff, or you can call me Loud Loser. I love rhythm games, and my goal here on YouTube is to get you to love them too. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video.